Boris gallery. What I'm about to do right now, we never do, because usually when I introduce an artist, I just talk briefly about the artist thanks me, and then we move on into the tours. But I wanted to talk a little bit with Ivan, because when I first met Ivan about 6 months ago, he walked in here, and I think he was unsure of what to expect, and I took a chance on him because I had stopped curating, and I let the other curators in this gallery do that. But I liked this guy immediately. I liked his honesty. I liked his style. I loved his story. And I said to myself, I'm going to take a chance on this guy, on this man. And we have met every Tuesday for the last 6 months, and we sat on that sofa over there, and we started to talk. First about race, then about homosexuality, because I'm openly gay, then about his art, then about the different communities coming together, then about the problems in the different communities. And then I said to him, you know what, let's film this conversation, because many of the things that we talked about were so fascinating, were so true, things that we don't talk about, especially the Black community and the gay community together. But tonight is not about that. Tonight is more, I want you to listen what this brilliant man has to tell you about art, Black art, and how the world has not been particularly respectful to Black artists or Black art. But the reason I'm sitting here next to Ivan, because this is not an angry person, this is a person who has taught me that in order to change the world, you have to call people out, but you do it in a nice way, and you do it in a way so that social justice can occur. And tonight is part of that. I feel tonight is a little bit of social justice happening. So I want you to give this guy, Ivan Smith, a big round of applause. So thank you for being here, Ivan, and talk into the microphone.
Okay. Thank you, Boris. Thank you, Boris. Can everybody hear me? Yeah. All right.
Oh yeah, my question was, tell us about your personal philosophy on art.
Okay. To me, art is the world is in a terrible place, and to me, art is the only thing that only way that humanity justifies our existence. Why are we even here? What are we doing that's contributing to anything other than art? You know, we're building stuff, but you know, destroy stuff in order to build a lot of stuff. You know, most stuff is pretty selfish, what we do. To me, art is the only thing that justifies our being here. You know, the bees are here for a good reason. You know, they pollinate the flowers, the birds, you know, the flowers are here for a good reason. Plants, they provide oxygen. Why are we here? And the only justification I can see for that is art. Art is being, Black art is being denied that it is even art. It's been stolen throughout the ages. It's been copied and everything, but the value of Black art is constantly being denied. My question is, why are you stealing something if it doesn't have value? And it's being stolen all over the world. A good sign is that some of it is being, some European countries, museums are starting to give the art back to the countries in Africa of origin. That's starting to happen. Not because they're just now starting to realize the value of art, but because they're starting to realize that maybe it's just the right thing to do. So my philosophy of art is that stop stop treating everything as art. Just because someone picks up a paintbrush or someone picks up a musical instrument, that doesn't make them an artist. People say to me, you're an artist, you're an artist. I say, that's what I'm trying to be. That's what I'm trying to learn. There's a whole lot for me to learn about making art. And to me, people minimize the value of the word art because it's used all the time. People are saying all the time, I'm an artist. To me, it's just not true. Art is something that's hard to do. I don't think it just flows. I think it's hard to do. It's something you have to study. So my philosophy of art is that it's necessary. It's highly intellectual. It's an intellectual process. It takes honesty. It takes intelligence. It takes emotion. It takes integrity. And if you want to do it, be prepared to not necessarily be thanked for it. There are a lot of people here that probably need to be sitting here instead of me. Boris says to me all the time, oh, there's a whole lot of artists better than you. Okay, I agree with that. But how come they're not sitting here? If you have a gallery, then to me the gallery's job is to find and display and to encourage art. The object of a gallery to me isn't just to sell art. It's to find art and not to display things because you think they'll sell, but to display things because they are actually art. That's me.
The second part of why my relationship with Ivan is important is because look at us tonight. I'm an immigrant from Germany. I know there are people from Colombia. God knows how many different countries are being represented tonight here. White, black, Hispanic. Excuse my language. How come we don't get the fuck along? What is it that makes us not like each other because of different color of our skin or the different nationalities? Ivan, how can art help cure this?
I don't know if art can cure anything. We don't get along because we deny the value in each other. Black people were brought to the land of the free. We were brought here in chains. In order to treat somebody like that, in order to even call somebody a slave, you have to deny their humanity. And that humanity was being denied for a couple hundred years in this country. And people have learned a lot of the wrong things from that. It's still being denied. People have to realize what the truth is about one another. I was talking to your father earlier. We were talking. He's a good man. I like your father. We were talking about that folks need to decide about people one-on-one. If I run into you and you're a good person, you're a decent person, you're honest, and you're not overly greedy, you're not trying to capitalize on me, just use me to make yourself better. Then fine, I'll get along with you. People don't want to relate to each other. People would rather stay ignorant with one another than actually learn the truth. I think that's what racism is about. I don't think there's a cure for it. Art isn't going to cure racism. Art will just help. Hey, Tim. Art will help move the narrative of cultures along. So the people who come along behind us, they can learn the value, the integrity, the heart of the people that came before them.
Okay, and if you are uncomfortable now, you're going to get really uncomfortable now, because now we're going to talk about a subject that in the black community is complicated, how black people feel about gay people, you know. And one of the reasons I did the interview is because I wanted Ivan, because the camera, I asked the director, when Ivan asked me if there's a cure for homophobia, I wanted the camera to stay on Ivan's face. Because the reality is, for gay people like me, the state of Florida has become a dangerous place to stay. We have a law called State Bill 1580, which now allows doctors to openly discriminate against gay people. If the doctor is uncomfortable treating a gay person, they're allowed to say, you know what, I'm not going to treat you, you know. There are many other laws, including one that Juan Pablo Santaluna here is trying to, what law is that? The SB 17, and it has to do with how Hispanics are treated. I'm just so shocked at what's happening in this country. This is the land of the free. Granted, you made the analogy of you came here in shackles, but the point is, it's 2023. What is going on? One of the things that I loved about Ivan is that we found each other. Had we not spent all that time talking to each other, we would have not become friends. And the thing is, why don't we talk to each other? Why are we afraid of each other? What is it that we do that keeps us apart from each other? Ivan, I think my life has changed because of my friendship with you. And I don't think I would have had this opportunity to become your friend if we didn't meet here every Tuesday for 6 months and we talked about everything. And you know, I honestly, I don't consider myself a racist or a homophobe, and I don't think you're either, but you see how much we've learned from each other in this moment?
Okay, I've told you before. I love being black. I wouldn't change that for anything. One of the benefits of being black in this country is that we know all about white people. White people tell us everything. You're all over the TV, you're all over magazines, you're all over the newspaper, you're everywhere. So you don't have a lot of secrets from us. You don't know a lot about black people because you refuse to learn about black people. That's where the disparity is. It's not that black folks don't know about white people and aren't willing to talk to folks. It's that white folks are unwilling to speak honestly to black people. And you know, that's where the problem lies. It's hard to get along with somebody that you refuse to know. You know, it's hard. So, okay. Maybe back in the day, black folks were afraid of white folks who would, because you're talking about current laws now, yes, laws against gays and stuff. There were laws called the Black Codes back in the day. You know, white folks, somebody white could arrest me and hold me for the authorities or something. Just some average white citizen could do that just because he didn't like the look on my face. There's Jim Crow laws, you know, the same thing. White folks could legally treat black folks any way they wanted to do, any way they wanted to. So having laws against a certain portion of society isn't a new thing. We've endured this throughout our life here in this country. Sorry you have to go through it, but you know, we made it through. You'll make it through too.
That's worth an applause.
Again, talking about art. I don't think art is going to save anybody. Art's not going to save anything. Art just needs to be appreciated for what it is. Art needs to stop being so. Junk has to stop being sold as art, and that's what's happening a lot.
Well, my favorite part in the interview is, because if you haven't seen it, you should. It's the best thing I've ever done. And because Ivan and I were honest with each other, and we allowed each other to ask each other whatever. And I know I probably said something stupid tonight, but that Ivan is allowing me to say these things. But one of my favorite things in the interview is where I said, why do you disagree with me that I call you a solution-oriented artist? You present black people in a positive light. Why is that a problem? And you said to me,
I don't remember what I said, but it's not a problem for me. If you ask me, I'm going to give you the answer that I know to be the truth. If I'm unsure, I'll say I'm unsure. Am I a solution based artist? I try to show what I know about my people. I'm not much into the social networking and all that kind of stuff. But on my Instagram, which I hardly ever post anything on, I say that each drawing is an opportunity for me to more deeply appreciate the beauty in black people. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to solve any problems. I'm trying to show my appreciation, and hopefully other folks will look on there and see why I appreciate the beauty in black people so much. I'm not drawing movie stars or traditionally. I don't know if traditionally is the right word, but people who are models and that kind of stuff. Because to me, that's not beauty. The beauty is in people who live each day of their life the best they can, and often shows on people's faces.
I want to end by asking you about how you figured out that you were a painter, how you started experimenting with art, and that moment when you realized you actually would go on and become an artist.
Okay, I'm a draftsman. I don't paint, and I don't paint because I like charcoal. Charcoal is, to me, it's essential. It's basic. It's about as simple as you can. Probably the only thing I could do simpler than charcoal is to draw on the ground with a stick in the dirt. Other than that, charcoal on paper is about as simple as you can get, and I like that because to me that's honest and pure. And I'm sorry, what was the rest of your question?
Your techniques. How did you discover your techniques, like the 5 points?
Oh well, that's through study. To me, if you're going to get good at something, you have to study from people who are already good at it. Like I said, the couple times I've run into teachers, they pretty much ignored me, and so I didn't study, and I didn't attempt to go to art school or anything. I had other things to do. But after I did those other things and retired, and I've always had an interest in drawing. I've been drawing in my head for, 70 years. And so after I retired, I decided to go ahead and start learning about what I'm thinking about and learning about what I called myself doing when I was a kid. But I've since learned that there's a whole lot to it. It's very deep. I've learned the origins of it, and I learned that it's ancestral, and I've learned that those who call themselves masters now have a debt they owe to a lot of unnamed folks from the mother country. And so I just decided late in life to try to learn what it is I like to do.
When did you realize this is it, that the last stage, the last chapter, the last act will be as an artist?
About 3 or 4 years ago. It wasn't like an epiphany or anything. I just said, well, let me do this. It wasn't, it was just a thing. I've always thought about it. Now I've decided to do it.
I really can't think of anything to say except thank you that you have allowed me, for this bubble that we're together, to think about things that I really didn't think about or probably wanted to think about. I think I've grown as a human being talking to you. And one of the things that I want to thank the many people that have talked to me tonight about liking the interview and the conversations that we had is that my mind certainly was expanded and open. You know, one thing that I have told you in the interview, and I'm saying this to you again, you are an artist, and I really believe that if you want this, you will be a star. Because my theory on art is that the game is changing. We have what's called artificial intelligence, and it's destroying everything. And I don't know if you guys really understand how artificial intelligence works. You hear about it. Well, so an artist can come up with an idea on a computer screen, right? You just make up a painting. Then you send it to this company that uses a robotic arm to paint with oils, acrylics, or watercolor. And it looks like a real painting. And major museums and galleries all over the world are being fooled. So the role of the human artist is being diminished. It's made unimportant because it is cheaper to buy artificial intelligence art than from a real person. But the point of this all is that I am the type of gallerist that believes that the artist is more important than the art. Because without the people, we won't have anything but computer art. Before we go, are there any questions? Please, let there be questions. Oh, do you want to have one more thing? Here's Ivan.
First of all, thank you, Boris, for inviting me for the opportunity. I'm certainly grateful for. Thank you very much, and for everybody here at Mills. I want to thank Patrick Knowles, good man. He gave me my first, some of my first exposure in the art world here in Orlando. I'm sorry Barbara Chandler's not here.
Yeah, she was.
Because I wanted to thank her too. I want to. There's a lot of black artists out there, and so there's a lot for a gallery like this to discover. You know, Weldon Ryan, the man is bad. Neil Phillips, Rob Johnson, Joy Hayes. I'm terrible with names. Wanda Granville. There's a lot of artists out there that need to be discovered. Okay, I say discovered, but to me it's like Columbus discovered America when it was already full of people. So they don't need to be discovered. They need to be recognized. They've been producing art for a long time. So I want to thank you for the opportunity. And like Boris said, any questions?
You want to come up? Sure.
Would you like to see different programs, art programs, or funding for young children, youth, younger generation to come for, as far as art? Would you like to see the funding come in or different programs? Would you like to teach that?
That's Veronica, everybody. That's my wife. And yeah, I'd like to see it, but make sure that the teachers know what they're talking about. One thing about teaching is, to me, teaching is the best way to learn something. So I'd love to teach, because because if you have some students who are questioning you, that makes you make yourself better. So I would love to teach, but if you're talking about funding, make sure it goes through the right hands, and make sure that the teachers are the right people and teaching the right things. Right now, art schools are teaching how to make money instead of teaching how to make art. Yeah, I'd love to see that. Good question, baby.
I just want to give a compliment to Ivan. I just want to thank you for being such a great inspiration in my life, allowing me to learn how to be positive. Because if it wasn't for you, I might be more on the negative side, but with that positive, it makes a big difference in life. And I just want to thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. The inspiration that you provide, the knowledge, the wealth of knowledge that you have, the positive, the kindness, the caring, the consideration. I can just go on. But you have so much to share, so much to give. And 26 years with you, I know. And I just want to thank you.
You know, you can also ask me questions, but please, there's got to be more questions. Come on, come on. Please come on. Come on now, Laura.
Hi, I'm Wanda Granville. Ivan, thank you. I like what you said about art being a discipline. Ivan and myself, we go through great pains to create a piece of art. And then we'll go to an art show and you have people that are throwing paint against the wall. I mean, I could do that too with a good bottle of Jack Daniels. And when you see people working the discipline and trying to show African Americans like we know them, like we love African Americans, like my grandmother and the lady in the drawing there, and the people you have there, and show them in the light and living life and enjoying it. That's what we strive. I mean, I see a lot of cartooniture kind of characters and stuff, and some of it is really good because, like when you see the jazz clubs, but to see black people how we live every day. I'm sure Ivan is like myself. I have a handful of artists that I really gravitate to. So I wanted you to talk about when you said back there your inspiration. That's the thing that brings your art alive. And that in itself is a study. Like he says, he studies and decide how he's going to portray them because you're actually creating history. So thank you for that.
What was there a question?
Yep, the question is part of your motivation. When you see something, like the guy you did in an hour, you know, I got to give you props. It takes me like 30 hours to do something like that.
That was unusual.
Yeah, that is beautiful for an hour. It would have took me like this week into next week. So the question is, for your inspiration, when you see something, what prompts you to put it on paper?
The drawing you're talking about, the white chalk. Yeah, with the white chalk on the black paper. IJ, my son gave me the paper, and I said, "Well, let me do something. Let me do something. Thank you, IJ. Let me do something with this." And so I just sat down and did it. It didn't take long. Unlike everything else back there, that didn't take long at all. Everything else takes a long time. Ask IJ. Ask Veronica. That stuff is sitting there for days and days and days and days and days. And the inspiration is, I'm not sure. It's if I just got to see something that I think needs to be on the page, that I can put on the page. I really don't have an answer to that. I don't know.
It's peculiar things, Tom.
Yeah, thank you.
This is your opportunity to ask. No one else, but please come on.
Art is a language. So when I look at your art coming from the other side of the world, what do I
Where are you from?
Originally, I'm Iraqi, and so what do I read? What do I see? What do I feel when I look at your art? That's the question.
Oh, okay. I don't know what anybody else is going to see when they look at my art. all I do is try to put down on paper what I see. And people come up and tell me different things that they see in my art, and I say, "Oh, really? You know, I'm glad you see. I'm glad you're looking at it and seeing something that I can't tell you what to see. I just appreciate it that you do see something." The one back there on the wall, the monk piece, that was on display downtown. And I was down there. It was open like this. That's the only piece I had up. And I was sitting down watching people as they went by, looking at the art. And a guy came up, and he was standing there for a while, and he stood there for quite a while. And then I saw him wiping away tears and stuff. And so I said, you know, I got up and, "How you doing, man?" And I said, "I'm the artist." I said, "What do you think?" He says, I love this piece." He says, "My father's a jazz musician. He didn't make much money, but he loved the music. And this reminds me of my father. And he loved Monk. And this reminds me of my father." And he said, his father had died recently, I think. And he said, "It just makes me think about my father." And he started, you know, he was tearing up and stuff. He said, "If I had the money, I'd buy it right now." I told him, "If I had the money, I'd give it to you right now." But I have no idea. I just want people to stop for a minute. I want what I draw to be good enough for people to stop for a minute and really look at it. I believe there's too much stuff called art that you can walk by and not give second notice. I think some stuff could be, you know, you could walk down the street and see something leaning up against a dumpster that somebody called himself an artist. And they put there and you know, maybe somebody threw out. And somebody will walk by and pick it up and throw it in the dumpster. If somebody walks by something I've done, I want them to stop and look at it and take it home. If they can't take it home, to at least look at it and appreciate it and think about, "Oh, what is that person thinking? Oh, this is nice. I like this." You know, just take a moment just for somebody to stop in their tracks and take a moment to look at it. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to communicate with people, no matter what language they speak, no matter where they're from, no matter if they're Iraqi or Italian or whatever. I just want people to appreciate that there's effort behind it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I can bring the microphone up to people if people have questions. No? You have no question?